Welcome to a priority edition of the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
All right, priority time. Whee! These are the people who paid money. They paid the big bucks. They got the deep pockets.
they have the burning need to have their questions answered.
Yes. Or they just happen to be a $5 patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast.
Or they could be a sponsor over at Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast.
It's true. It's true. You heard about it. You've heard that? It's true.
Before we get started, I got a little bit of news. If you missed out at the live stream at the end of the month or the rerun we had last week, I have a sale going over at the Bumble Comic Shop. You can get your entire order of the Bumble Comic Shop 40% off if you use the code BIRTHDAY40. Because I'm turning 40, and dang it, I want something good to come of that. So you're getting a discount.
You're crushing 40, dude.
All books come signed, and there's a whole bunch. It's not just Sonic stuff. There's My Little Pony and Transformers. I am sold out of Ninja Turtles. Thank you very much. Folks have already taken me up on that. But there's Minecraft. There's Mario. There's just a bunch. It's stuff that I've worked on, and I've got a pretty decent resume at this point. So check it out. Also, I launched my own personal Patreon. You can find it at Ian Flynn Writing. Patreon.com/Ian Flynn Writing. It's going to be a place where I just upload stuff because I need to break myself of the habit of brainstorming and not actually doing. Mm-hmm. Folders upon folders of half thought out ideas. And it's like, no, just put a bow on it, put it out there and do. You can get access for any denomination. Any level gives you access to everything. I'm not doing tiers or anything. It's kind of there to help incentivize me to keep up with this. But at the same time, if I get super busy, I don't want anyone to be put out because, they were expecting content and it didn't come out. This is everyone's understanding that I'm trying to break myself of bad habits. And if you want to support that, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. If not, I completely understand. I can be shouting to the void. That's fine. But I uploaded a short story, a design document, and a poem. First thing, because I wanted there to be at least something for folks to see. So if you're interested, head over to patreon.com/Ian Flynn Writing or bumbleking.com. That has links to this show, to the store, to all the Patreons, to everything. It's got a lot of links. It's got a lot of info.
Nice.
You should go see.
You need to gotta have those poetries and all the other stories up there. Go check it out. Also, while you're at the Bumble Comic Shop, go buy Cosmo. Please, somebody buy Cosmo.
The very fair number of folks grabbing Cosmo at the beginning of the month, which was
good,
very nice.
Good.
I think I actually sold out of some of the variant covers. So,
nice.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Cosmo's delightful. It's a wonderful story. It's a beautiful book. You should play it. You should watch it. You should read it. Consume. Speaking of consumption, Ian, are we ready to consume these questions and then spit out some answers?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Like some strange amalgamation of Galactus and the Riddler. Let us consume these questions.
Yes. And then expel the answers. We're going to get started off with a question from Ava Arctic. Let's talk about something that no one seems to discuss about the older Archie Satic comics, the ads. Aren't there some weird ads back then? Especially some that were similar to the old school fundraisers, trying to tempt us with a prize Nintendo 64 or a PS1. Were there any that you all thought were just super weird? And did any of you ever partake in the sweepstakes?
See, I don't remember the ads all that much. I didn't pay any attention to them.
Most of the time, most of the ads I remember were the ones on the back, on the reverse side of the books. Mm-hmm. And even then, that's specifically This one that specifically comes to mind was the Twizzlers ad with the guy and the creepy face with the Twizzlers on him that was give him like a Twizzler mustache. And yeah, that ad thing like gave me nightmares, and it was on the back of most of the early issues. I don't know if I ever actually had nightmares, but it was creepy. It like creeped me out, man. It was weird.
I don't remember. The only in-comic ad I remember, it wasn't a Sonic book. I don't even remember what book it was in. This is like way, way back. But it was a cross-promotional thing where Captain Crunch and Spider-Man were teamed up against the Soggies.
Cool. Yeah, I remember that.
And there was like some big mecha thing that was leading the Soggies, and it ended on a cliffhanger, and it was like, I don't know, you had to like buy so many boxes of Captain Crunch to get the second half of the comic or something, but I'm like, this is incredible. I want to know what happened. Forget the MCU bringing my Kellogg's cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Is Crunch Kellogg's? Or is it
Captain Crunch is post?
Whatever. You know what I mean.
It's one of those.
My cereal cinematic universe.
Yes, we do need that. Of course we need that. Quaker Oats. There we go. Yeah. It's weird. That's the Quaker Oats. It's like the fourth tier cereal company. Either way, yeah. The ads were weird. The PS1 N64 sweepstakes ones were after my time, actually, because I don't think the N64 and the PS1 had been out for very long, if at all, by the time I wasn't reading the comic regularly anymore. But yeah, some of them were kind of weird, but I can't remember like specifics aside from the Twizzlers guy on the back, because that was creepy and freaked me out as a kid. And I'd have to flip the issue over. Like if there was that guy's face was exposed at night, it was time to flip that comic over and get to the maybe slightly less creepy front cover. Either way, yeah, it was weird. Here's a question from Joe M. While the metal virus was only in the early stages of its conception, I was curious if Sally's previous experience with a mass roboticizer would come up, or if it would stay memory hold. Would the Revenadnik of Mecha Sally appear?
No, because the whole mass robotization thing was pre-reboot.
I think that's what they mean, yeah.
Yes, no, all pre-reboot stuff would have been gone. Like, after the initial story arc, they forgot it. Memory hold, because it shouldn't have been a plot point to begin with. So yeah, we wouldn't have revisited. We couldn't. Like, there would be no reason to go back and try to revisit plot points that we really couldn't. So no, we wouldn't have done that. See, we didn't really get very far plotting it, so I can't say if there would have been a Zombot incarnation of Mecha Sally, but it wouldn't be the same, because the whole point of Mecha Sally was to have, kind of the heart and the mind of the freedom fighters turned into the ultimate weapon against them, whereas Zombots are just a problem en masse. So it's not like Zombot Sally would be any smarter or more dangerous than your average Zombot. It would just be tragic that someone who was so gifted and such a large part of the team would have been lost. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is pure speculation. This is just me theory crafting off the top of my head here. But like, the whole point behind the Zombot arc in IDW was with this mantra of, and then it gets worse. Ever escalating stakes. So Sally probably would have fallen, because in a crisis like that, you need someone who's level-headed and organized and able to get people to come together in a crisis. You need to remove that so the crisis happens.
Darn.
So she probably would have fallen at some point. I don't know when or how or the details. I'm just, yeah, that'd probably be a way to go.
That's one heck of a thing, man. You kill Sally yet again.
She'd get better.
She always does. I don't understand why people think you killing her off was permanent, ever. It never was.
There's only one person who tried to kill her off permanently, but
yes,
even that didn't stick.
Nope. Couldn't. Tried. Apparently argued that should have stayed dead, but nope. Couldn't do it. Too many letters. Oh well. This is a question from Sam Cybercat. Potentially cursed scenario time. A meme based on Sonic Underground goes viral and brings an unexpected wave of new interest to the show. So much so that SEGA wants you to test the waters by introducing one, but only one, character from Sonic Underground into the IDW comics. Who do you pick? Do you pick a sibling between Manic and Sonia? Give Knuckles a pet dinosaur? Cheat the system and bring in Uncle Chuck? Or pick someone else entirely?
Well, wouldn't it be contingent upon the meme?
Well, I mean,
like,
maybe.
If the meme got that much interest, wouldn't the character or the event in the meme be what SEGA would focus on, since that's what got the attention? I'm being pedantic. That's not the point of the question.
Yes.
I'm going to cheat the system and say Uncle Chuck, because I feel like if you bring Manic by himself, all the Sonya fans are going to be furious. If you bring just Sonya in, all the Manic fans are going to be mad. So you might as well piss off everybody and just do Uncle Chuck.
No, not Dingo, but not Sleet. You gotta piss off all the Sleet fans.
There would be some. And what was the dinosaur's name? Chomps?
I don't know.
Chomper? I just remember, I hadn't seen Underground all the way through, and I heard Knuckles got a dinosaur. I'm like, oh, that's super cool. And then it just turns out to be like this tiny little sauropod that eats stuff. And it's like, no, give him like a tiny T-Rex or a Velociraptor or something cool. Not some little squiggle that looks like you made art out of a toothpaste accident. Just,
What about Baby Sonic that gets dropped from a cliff and explodes? Because he's actually a robot.
Oh, God.
You think that would be the meme that would go viral?
It did for a little while.
Yeah, it did. Not enough to get Sega's attention, though. It's super
In all
underground.
seriousness, no. It would be nice to see Uncle Chuck back. I think he could work very, very easily. Just, boop, transplant him.
I think he could, yeah. He's like a good mentor sort of type. I think it would be good. I miss that guy. Here's a question from Ann Tales. As a fanfic writer, I sometimes find myself wishing I could visually describe a scene or a character's actions instead of describing them in words. I think this is a fairly common feeling among writers in general. But as a writer for the comics, do you ever wish you could explain a character's thoughts, actions, or feelings more thoroughly in the written word? The comic artwork is always fantastic, but do you feel like some of your intent is sometimes lost in this medium?
Yeah, and that's just something that comes with the nature of the beast is, artists are going to interpret things their own way because they are creative individuals themselves. And you just have to accept that sometimes they're going to take it in a different direction than you thought. You can write the most implicit stage directions you possibly can, and they're still going to be understood and rendered by someone else. And usually it's for the better, or it does something interesting. That's part of collaboration. And on top of that, once it's put out there and it's consumed, we've talked about the death of the author thing in the past. It's,
oh yeah,
you and the artist can be in perfect sync. They can render what you have envisioned exactly as you wanted it. Other people are going to read it and interpret it their own way. So at some point you have to just let go and accept you have no control. When scripting, what I try to do is be as clear and succinct as I can. If I really want a particular emotion emoted, I can go into detail in the script explaining to the artist, this is what the character is feeling. This is the theme we're going for. This is the emotion we want to elicit. But again, it could be interpreted differently by the readers. The scene with the Shadow and Whisper very early on in the IDW book got interpreted very differently by the readers than what I initially intended. And you know what? Fine. Run with that. take it in a new direction. So there, you have to find that point where you're able to let go of the work and say what will be will be. Don't be careless about it. Put your all into it. Make sure that you're telling the best story you can and describing it as best you can. But eventually, it's just going to be interpreted how it's interpreted.
Yeah, and then sometimes the interpretation changes over time, just because society. We live in a society. But no, because the overall psyche of the general society changes over time. So, that's how things were. Some things were considered acceptable way back when, that are less so now. Next question is from Non-Dull. Not that it would ever happen, but if characters used profanity in the IDW canon, which ones would be the worst about it on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being Mr. Rogers and 10 being George Carlin.
Cream would be a 1. She'd be like a -5.
I figured Cream would be the 10.
No. Vanilla raised her right. She doesn't use such language in public.
Well, that's what I mean.
Sonic, you'll never catch her doing it. So as far as you can perceive.
I've seen some memes of her screaming at the Zeddy. I know what's up.
Sonic, I figured would be like a 2. Every now and again he tosses something out there, whatever's appropriate.
I'd say like a damn here and there,
Knuckles, probably about the same thing. Just kind of his rough nature. Shadow, we know, is like a 3 at most. Mostly when looking for Chaos Emeralds.
I don't know. Sonic says the S word a few times, or at least once in Sonic X. So I don't know. Maybe he could.
Not enough to lose monetization.
Oh, right. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Surge is a 15.
Yeah.
Like base level 10, but when she finds out that it gets attention or it ticks someone off, then she finds a way to somehow make every word abusive.
Well, now I wish this wasn't a book for kids, because then it would be funnier. When every other syllable is. Eggman, I can't see him doing it that much. Maybe out of frustration, but I don't know. I don't think it seems like too simple a word. Yeah.
He's more about tearing you down verbally. He wouldn't just use blue language. Starline would be...
He's precise in his language.
Starline would be, obnoxious about how much he doesn't.
Oh, of course.
Until something goes wrong, and then he's right up there with Surge.
He's mumbling under his breath the whole time, of course.
Rough and Tumble are about a 5. Easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thereabouts. Amy? I don't know, man. Amy might be like an 8. Depending on how mad she is.
You really have to push her to that level, though.
Yeah.
Like, normally she prides herself on being pleasant and approachable and, just cheery. So,
yes.
When she's going after things with a hammer with a purpose, then dials up. Vector's definitely an 8, but ever since Espio put out the swear jar because of Charmy, he's just...
Whisper is
like some days he just takes a chain and wraps it around his own mouth because he can't afford anymore.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, granted, that jar did pay off the light bill this month, but it's about pride.
I like
Besides, Espio cheats, uses Japanese. I don't know what he's saying.
What a cheater. He's a cheater.
He looked me dead in the eye and told me I was an onigiri, and I don't know whether to be insulted or not.
Whisper is a 10, but you never hear it.
Mm-hmm,
She's under her breath.
She just thinks it, yeah.
Or she thinks it, or it's under her breath.
Tails actually translate what she says to the wisps, and it's like, woo.
Woof. Yikes. Scary.
Big doesn't know any swear words.
Well, darn. Tangle is like, I don't know. Maybe she's the one who uses them in a positive way. They're the positive memory.
Yes, every single one is some kind of positive affirmation.
Yeah.
I like that. A lot.
Yep. They're the bad words, but she never uses them in they're never angry or anything. It's always the good. They're always either good or neutral.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Apparently, she said crap once. Actually, in the
crap is not a swear word.
I know.
Get over it.
It's not really, but it is funny. It's in a kids comic. They like to use crap. You use crap a lot in the comic.
Kind of because we couldn't do it in Squeaky Clean Archie, so it's like okay.
Weird. That is weird because Archie, there's a lot of not squeaky clean stuff in Archie, but apparently couldn't say crap.
Yeah. It was weird too because there was back in the old 3D Blast special.
Yeah.
Robotnik gets his hand bitten and he curses out the flicky and the little wing dings or whatever.
Yeah. And
I wanted Scourge to do something like that later. And that got flagged because we couldn't even imply cursing.
Weird.
It's but it's it's the most cartoony, kid-friendly way to do it. All right, fine. Not worth having a fight over.
Weird. I don't know, man. Let's get into a question here from Scurvy Pirate Hog. So in IDW, it started with Eggman having amnesia and had taken on the persona of Mr. Tinker, with Starline eventually making Eggman remember and restoring Dr. Eggman to his evil self again. Afterwards, we've also seen what Sonic with amnesia is like. So, just out of curiosity, how do you suppose some of the other characters might behave if they had memory loss in a similar fashion to Sonic and Eggman?
I think the most interesting character study out of all of those would be Tails, because Tails' personality is highly defined by his past interactions, whether that was the teasing that made him self-conscious about his tails, or Sonic getting him to accept himself and his own growth as an individual, or even his, I know folks don't like it, but his kind of implosion without Sonic their support. So if you remove all of that, who would Tails be in a vacuum? If it was just left to his own devices, who would he be? And I think that would be interesting. Without anyone to tear him down in the beginning, would he be kind of arrogant because he has so much skill and ability? Or is he just so good-natured enough that he would kind of even out? Amy, I imagine, would be a little withdrawn, but she is still a very supportive and good person at her core that in the right environment, she would very quickly return to form. I don't see that throwing her off too much.
Mm-hmm.
Knuckles would just regress to his original state of not trusting anybody.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go through the entire bloody list, but I mean, Shadow had an entire game based around it.
Yeah, you've already done that. That's old hat now. Whisper might be an interesting one to have amnesia. I don't know what kind of person she would become.
Would she revert back to her old self, or would she go back to her old, bubbly, happy, gregarious self?
Yeah, or would she be even more withdrawn? I don't know.
There's a couple of ways to approach that. Which would be the most tragic? What would make the most children cry? Comment in the video below. Let us know which way you don't want me to do it.
Tangle would be the same. She wouldn't change.
Yeah, Tangle is Tangle.
She'd be like, oh, new friends. We know you, Tangle. We've known you for a while. New friends. Yeah. Tangle is a simple girl with simple needs. Friends. And our next question is from Jams. So Unleashed was a globe-trotting adventure, but Sonic didn't seem to have any difficulties talking to the locals on every continent. Do you think all human and Mobian settlements on Sonic's world speak the same shared language? Does each culture also have their own regional ones? I swear I can talk sometimes. It's not today.
I mean, the obvious answer is we can't have translations for every single region in this globetrotting adventure. So everyone speaks, English or Japanese or German or whatever language you're playing it at the time.
It's like D&D. Pretty much everybody speaks common. That's why it's called common.
Yeah. And I don't think we don't hear people talk too much in the game. Pickle's got kind of a British accent, but everyone else sounds fairly North American Englishy. So, yeah. I mean, I would like there to be canonically different regions and dialects and languages, but yeah, maybe there is one shared common language. That's Sonic Ease. Everyone speaks Sonic Ease on Sonic's World.
It's terrible. It's awful. You take that back and come up with something better. I want it on my desk by 5. Here's one from Knights Ubel. Say Sega asked you to make a Nights into Dreams miniseries with the only stipulation being you could not make a direct adaptation of either game or connect it to Sonic. What would you do?
Ooh, you already cut me off at the pass.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I'd have to actually go through the games again to actually be up to date.
At least the first one's real short.
Yeah. I don't think it's that story heavy, but still.
Nah, but there's some depth there that's kind of surprising if you go into it.
I guess I'd treat it as a soft pitch for what a third game story would be. Where would I take Knights narratively? And since I'm not doing a game, obviously, make it into a comic format. I mean, that worked for Sonic Overdrive, Mega Drive, and such. It worked for the 30th anniversary special, more or less. So I'll see why not. Can't really pitch on the show here because, again, I'm not super familiar with Knights. But again, just do my research, see the themes, see where the story has gone thus far, and see where to take it from there. What is stuff that a Knight's story is known for, and incorporate that? What is stuff that you can kind of do that's different or new to put a spin on it? Maybe do a little bit of research on psychological study and dream interpretation. See if there's characters or settings to mine from that.
Nice. I like it. Next question here is from Happy Times. Are amphibians in Sonic's world only non-anthropomorphic, like Froggy and the giant frogs from Heroes? Or can there be anthro and non-anthro versions, like how we can have Vector the crocodile and the giant crocodile that chases you at the end of Lost Jungle?
I don't think amphibians are off limits. We just haven't seen any yet. A rule of thumb is when we're looking at new characters, Sega prefers we stick mammalian. I don't know why, but that was the last note I got. So... But I don't think it's completely unreasonable to have a frog at some point, or salamander, or newt.
Newt the newt.
Have you seen Padniks lately? They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
Newt.
Eggman attacks and the egg's xenomorph.
Oh.
There's just a little recessed Eggman face that pops out of its mouth going...
No! What is wrong with you?
You want a list?
Yeah, yeah, actually, it might help. Some other people might like a list, actually, too. Yeah. There's some people who are like criticizing you for writing Eggman cathartic, and I was like, what? Like, yeah. It's like, okay. You know how villains work, right? Whatever. Here's a question from Quaggle Gaggle. Ian, how about that Bone news? If anything kills me with Netflix, it's the fact that this would probably be the least compromised version we'd have gotten, and the kicker was just timing. The fact Lauren Faust got the Axe 2 shows it's just a numbers game, and that especially how excited the crew seemed on Twitter. I won't ask you too much since I don't think you want to step on anyone's toes, and it's a small part of such a bigger story worth discussing alone. I will just ask as a fan if you think we'll ever see this happen. I can't think of any other big studio wanting to jump in that puddle, under the belief that it's too niche. Amazon's had a lot of fantasy, but I can't imagine they'd be interested. Kickstarter, maybe? Adult Swim seems too far, and they'd hate the budget. How about you, Kyle? As someone with no dog in this race, how do you feel about this Netflix story? You're a prime target. As someone who's never read a page, what would it take for you to make that leap? Would it help if I mentioned there's a giant mountain lion that discusses philosophy and is a huge jerk? I know we left one guy speechless. I mean, maybe. It's not the fact that
remember, Kyle, that it's pronounced Rockjaw. You must roll the R.
Always got to roll the R's.
Yes, it's Rockjaw, not Rockjaw.
Rockjaw. Very nice. It's not a matter of that I don't want to read it. It's just a matter of, I don't know, when I might read it. Like, I don't know, man. I'm going to be in, like, my 60s and be like, well, I'm still haven't read any of this stuff or watched any of this stuff or seen any of this stuff. Too much for one lifetime. But I think a show would be interesting, and I'm really disappointed for the fans, especially who are looking forward to it, that Netflix decided to axe it.
Yeah.
I'm sad that Netflix is axing so much that they're thinking this is not that it's not worth their time and their money to invest more into animation in general. So that's a damn shame.
I mean, one can only hope that somebody sees the mistake and the loss in revenue and attention and decides to swoop in and do something with it. Like, if you can imagine a provider like Netflix that does Western animation that isn't just, hyper violent adult comedies, but stuff like what Lauren Faust was pitching, like Bone, stuff along the lines of all the successful animated stuff that Netflix has had.
Right.
And reap those rewards. That would be nice. It's just, I know that takes a lot of money and that takes a lot of time and effort. And damn it, why don't I have those? Because I would do it myself. He said, not having any idea how to actually do it. But I don't know. I mean, there's been so many attempts to bring Bone to another screen in some form. I can't imagine that this is the end of that journey. It's just the latest and most disappointing bump in the road.
Yeah, because I've been trying to push for this for decades at this point almost. It's been a long time. I
mean, Jeff Smith may be just tired of it. And if he wants to give up the chase, I completely understand. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I have no way of influencing it, so I just kind of got to sit back and watch how it plays out. It'd be nice to see it, but at the same time, yeah, it's understandable if it doesn't. It's just disappointing.
Right.
It's also one of those things where it's been so long, I have certain voices in my head for the character, so if somebody else does it and it's different, they'll be like, no, that's wrong. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You're just being stupid. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Like, there might be enough of a backlash that somebody notices and decides to pick it up somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just like, what the heck? What the heck, Netflix? Sorry you lost some subscribers. Don't freak out about it. It's not like it'll be the last time. Sorry. The salad days never last forever. You can only grow so much. There's only a limited amount of people in the world. And cutting off password sharing ain't going to help. I can tell you that. Oh well. Let's get into the next question here from Andrew D. Since you've been working on your own comic series, Dragoon, what are your thoughts on getting out such a huge and epic story to the public while limited by time? I've been worrying recently that my own stories that I've been telling through the medium of comics will never get finished, since they each have a lot of stories to tell, and at the current pace will probably never get fully told unless by some miracle I find the time and or funding to dedicate to them all full time. Honestly, I feel like the best analogy would be to say that I barely scratched the surface of the Emperor Pilaf saga for Dragon Ball, while already having in my head the idea of Super Saiyan gods down the line. It's fun to have so much planned out, but the reality of potentially never reaching that point quickly leads to feeling pretty bad. Do you ever consider telling the story of Dragoon or any other stories in your head through another medium, such as a novel, story breakdowns, poems, etc.? How do you stay motivated to work on your dream projects when facing such real-world constraints? I definitely enjoy telling my stories and do it for me, but it's very easy to lose motivation when you have stories to tell and can't tell them.
I feel you, bro.
Yep.
And it is daunting and discouraging, but the key thing to keep in mind is if you don't tell some of it, it will never be told. And that's worse. It's better to, like, if I were to be struck by lightning right now and just poof, gone from this world. Hold your applause.
Don't give some people that hope.
Like, at least the 70 pages that Adam and I did of Dragoon are out there.
Yeah.
The story has been given form. And sure, I've got big, sprawling plans for it, but you have to look at what is your story? What are you trying to tell? What is the story you're trying to convey? And all those spin-offs and all that deep lore, all the tangents that you want to follow, are they crucial to the story that you're telling right now? And if the answer is yes, then either A, you need to find a way to address those, or B, you need to trim the fat. Because there's only so much you can do. I feel like part of this is just our generation and those around us grew up with these big epic fable type franchises like Star Wars.
Right.
You know, we had 3 movies and then there were comics and books and games and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, look how every single thing that ever appeared on the screen now has his own action figure and short story and, you know, costume at Spirit Halloween and yada, yada, yada.
And also you got to remember though, that's like the work of tens, if not hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So it's not just one person who came up with all this stuff too.
It's got to start from somewhere.
Right.
You have to build that foundation first.
Yep.
And then explore. Like with Dragoon, I need to tell Wynn's story. And sure, there's all sorts of stuff about the Dragoon themselves, what came before, what will happen after. You know, where did Jobun come from? Where did Foreign come from? What's Lissy's backstory? Wynn's story comes first, and what you can weave around that is icing on the cake.
Right.
You have to pull yourself in. You have to limit yourself and say, what is the story that I'm going to tell? And what is the other stuff that would be nice to tell? And you have to accept that there will be limitations, there will be concessions, and there will be stuff that just gets cut. Case in point, right now, where Dragoon is, we're looking at another full rewrite that is dropping entire subplots and characters and scenes that I wanted to do. But the end result would be a more concise and easier to consume story. There was a long con that I had planned for, you know, many books down the road. And now in the current draft, it happens in the first one. And reviewing it with Adam, he's like, yeah, nobody would have fallen for that long. It's better to just do it here. And it's like, yeah. I hate revision. I hate revision so much. It's necessary. Everything's better for it, but it drives me crazy. So don't lose the forest for the trees. Don't look so far down the road thinking, oh, I have so far to go. Look at where you are right now, what you're doing with your project, and make the next step. And once that's done, awesome. Now you can look on to the next step. You've got your roadmap. You know where you're going. But focus on your next milestone. Don't focus on everything that may happen down the road, because you may not get to it.
Yeah.
But if you spend all your time looking at that, you're not going to be able to focus and get done what you need to right now. It is a very bitter pill to swallow, but
Yes.
it's a good medicine.
Yes. And don't expect that you can foist it on your offspring after you're gone. Like, why would you do that? It's terrible. Don't do that. If they want to do that, that's fine. But, it's like, come on. Let your kids live their own lives. Here's one from Noni. Do Chow have souls, or do they just return to whatever chaotic energies there are when they die?
Well, I mean, they're influenced by positive and negative influences. So I would assume they have a soul. If you can be hallowed or corrupted, you have to have some kind of morality. And morality itself is an aspect of the soul, is it not?
Maybe. I don't know. Do all Chow go to heaven?
If the Chow Gardens are any indication, no, they do not.
Oh boy. And our last question before we take a break is from Chaos Sonic 1. Sega announces a sequel to Sonic X, but this time it's the adaptation of Sonic 06. Now there are a couple of changes. Princess Elise's personality instead is changed similar to that of Raven from the Teen Titans animated series, and we see Sonic Man in the background. Then, plot twist! Sonic Man is actually an adult Chris Thorndike. How would you react to that? P.S. Would it actually improve Princess Elise if her personality it was similar to Raven? My friends find it funny on that idea.
Chris turning into Sonic Man is kind of funny.
It is.
especially if you make it this kind of in long-running subplot gag type of thing.
Yes.
As for Elise, I mean, that would make enough sense, but I feel like it would be better to actually properly address her characterization as it was. Because what's there is tragic.
Yeah.
She's always upbeat and friendly and positive because she's been traumatized with this rule that she can never give in to despair. And whether or not she understands fully that it will release some kind of fiery eldritch fiend, or it's just the last thing she remembers as her father dies in front of her when she was like, 10? It's like, it's pretty grim. And you could have a lot of interesting dynamics with that in, how she processes emotion and faces adversity. Sonic is very carefree and take life as it comes, and Elise tries to emulate that, but it's clearly a facade. Yeah. So them interacting in a way so that he is able to teach her to accept life as it comes and not force the positive attitude, but to change your mindset so that you can allow life to happen and roll with it. So that's a much healthier personal lifestyle. That would be great. Sonic's story wouldn't be forgettable in 06 if it was that, but you can't, I don't know if you really need to have that kind of deep mental investigation in a game where you're supposed to be running and platforming.
Yeah, but this is a cartoon, Ian. This is just...
No, this is the cartoon. This is the cartoon.
Yeah, we're not thinking about the game.
That's right.
We're not thinking about the game. This is cartoon. So you can
go... so there you go.
You can go as deep as you want.
That's 2 or 3 episodes, cheap on the budget too, since mostly it's talking heads. Yeah, we can do that.
Yep. Sounds good. Let's cut, print, somebody pay for it. Let's get it animated and get it out there. I think that's a good idea. But you know what else is a good idea? Taking a break.
Taking a break?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Taking a break.
Taking a break. And we're going to do that right now on the BumbleKast. We're back, and we've got a question here from Pedanticat. So, reading Superman Beyond and thinking about Old Man Logan got me thinking, Ian, what do you think of an elderly Sonic would be like? I know we have 25 to 30 years later stories, but I mean even older, like in his 60s or 70s. Even though he'd probably be much slower than he was in his prime, would he still be able to run fast? Also, would he still be on the move, or would he have slowed down a bit? Maybe even spend more time with a certain pink hedgehog due to him being much older now?
Old Man Sonic, I'd imagine that the breaks he takes are longer. He spends more time in a place, kind of recharging and relaxing and just drinking in the atmosphere, but he still moves. It might take him a couple seconds to get up to speed, but he's still out there. He's still adventuring and exploring. I don't think he would ever stop.
Can really move.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still got an attitude.
He has to. He does. I mean, he'd be the cool uncle, but it would still be kind of kids these days.
He might not quite be the fastest thing alive anymore, though. He's still real
Maybe
fast,
not.
but maybe not.
Maybe not. But he could still teach these kids a thing or two.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
I still see him maybe in more kind of a passive mentor role. Like, he's not actively going out of his way to find people and teach them the ways of the world, but he's out there looking for adventure, and he comes across those who are facing adversity, and he's going to stop. He's going to help. And with his almost Zen-like attitude at that point and all of his worldly experience, he'd be fairly wise and succinct.
Maybe. It would be like he's just going around looking for tales to mentor.
We're not saying like he's pulling a Bruce Wayne and he's adopting a new sidekick every 10 years. Just saying,
no.
He keeps finding those in need and helping them out. That's just what Sonic do.
Yeah, that's just how he is, though. That's normal.
Yeah, I don't see him ever changing. It's just a matter of pacing. That's a little different.
Back in my day, gotta go fast meant something. Here's a question from Pan Dulce. Scenario time. Eggman and Starline are still working together, having Metal Sonic, Bell, Surge, and Kitsunami as their respective children and or creations. How does that go? How chaotic would that be?
Only if we frame it as some kind of meta-contextual sitcom.
Would Surge and Kit be like the same? Like, would they be? Would anything be different about them?
I mean, I can see it as like this extremely dysfunctional family sitcom.
It would be, absolutely, yes.
Belle is the good child.
Yep.
Kit is the potentially good child, just badly influenced by the bad one, which is very clearly Surge.
Oh, of course.
And then Metal Sonic just kind of cameos once an episode to get everyone hyped up and
and then leaves.
Does the deadpan humor of not reacting to all the madness going on. And, this week's episode, Starline is just beside himself because why can't Eggman use a coaster? We've been over this. I've shaped them like Sonic's head so that you can drown him with your glass. I've shaped it like your head so that's part of the house theme. By the way, why is the entire house themed around you? Even my sewing room? I love you, dear, but can we at least give me my own space? And Eggman's like, you were saying something?
Who are you?
How did you get in my house? Why are there cameras?
Of course, you got to have Orbot and Cubot there too.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing.
They're the neighbors.
Oh, they're the neighbors. Okay, I guess that's one way to do it. That's amazing. You just wrote another Sonic Boom episode right here on the show, man. That's it. You've done it. I imagine Sonic is the neighbor that would come over and be like the crowd pleaser. Sonic comes through the door, like the crowd just starts screaming, and everyone just goes crazy. Whoa! Yeah, he's definitely that guy.
Whatever problems the Egg family is having, they drop it all trying to kill Sonic in the house right then and there.
Oh, of course.
It leads to Looney Tune antics. He walks out unscathed. The couch is on fire. Right before they roll credits, Starline, beaten on the floor, reaches up shakily and puts that glass on that coaster.
That's right. That's where it belongs. That's good. That's good. I like it. Let's get into the next question here from Finest Cacophony. We all have a bizarre love for the Boom universe, so I'd love to know, if you were to do Boom counterparts of some of the other main casts that didn't get added, i.e. the rest of Teams Dark, Rose, and Chaotix, What changes would you make to them and their friendships in the Boomiverse? Any IDW characters you'd like to make Boom counterparts of? Maybe a certain pair of skunks, a certain lemur and wolf, maybe even a Tenrec, Fennec, and goose. I mean platypus. Sports tape Starline, anybody?
God. Starline shows up as the mega Eggman fanboy, drives him up the wall. He ends up becoming the manager of Mad Burger just so he can try to get in close again. I do remember when I was pitching episodes for Boom, I was offered the chance to pitch some ideas for Boomatized characters, but none of them got picked up, unfortunately. And part of the difficulty of that is, how do you take the core essence of the characters and do it in a Boom fashion that's fun, but doesn't become kind of a meta commentary on what they were originally? How do you make them stand alone, but still be recognizable? Which is why I really, really liked what they did with Boom Vector. He's still a detective, but it's in the context of those true crime shows. And
right.
I dug that a lot.
I did too, yeah. Vector was a lot of fun. They incorporated him really well.
Some of those competent he's ever been, and that's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really dug that. But, what do you do? Rouge is supposed to be a jewel thief, but, where are the really riches in the Boom universe? Of course, it's a Boom universe, so you can invent the jewelry store on Hedgehog Island and even make a crack about it. It's how long has that been there? Who even wears this stuff? Do we care that she's robbing the place?
Yeah.
You can't make her a government spy because there's no government for her to spy for, but maybe that's the joke. It's who are you spying for anyway?
There's the mayor. I mean, there's the local government.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's
mayor gets a little paranoid, so he hires Rouge to spy on everybody.
Maybe it just makes Sticks feel justified in in the government and in hating the government. It's a government spying on us. Literally, here she is.
I mean, Omega works pretty much wholesale. Eggman builds the ultimate robot, but he doesn't feel like sharing, so he decides to destroy the other robots. And Sonic's and we want to stop him. Why?
Yeah.
Because then we'll be out of a job. I see.
Yep. Sonic, or Silver just thinks he's from the future, but he's actually not. He has weird dreams, but he thinks they're real. And he just sees what he thinks is the future. Yeah.
He just shows up on the island one day and he tells Styx he's from the future. I have to warn you of the dangers to come. She's like, I knew it! Finally, my day has come!
Yes.
And they spend all day trying to avert disaster and they end up just tripping up everybody until finally somebody on the island is oh, it's him again.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Always wandering into town causing trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stinger, of course, is some kind of actual hint that he actually has seen the future, that things are lining up and it won't pay off until the season finale.
Oh, of course. And even then, it's questionable if it'll actually pay off. Yeah. Being asked if you can tell us what characters were denied.
I know I pitched the Chaotix at some point.
Yeah, of course.
But the mistake there might have been pitching them as a unit. I think I pitched Rouge, but I can't remember how. I think I pitched Cream.
Cream would have been fun.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah. Blaze could have been fun too, Princess from the next island over. Yep.
I think part of it was I was just overthinking the assignment and trying to be too much of a Sonic nerd. I needed to step away from it.
You and your Sonic fandom, Marie.
Yeah.
How dare you? All right, next question comes to us from Shaggy Dog. If you ever had to do the Dark Sonic transformation from Sonic X, either in the comics or in the games, How would you do it, and how would you make it work?
Keyword there is had to, because I don't want to, because it's not a thing. It's really not. It's less than 5 seconds of a non-transformation that doesn't do anything or go anywhere.
Sonic, more like Dork Sonic.
Because the very idea of a Dark Sonic, at least in the context of what X presented, is Sonic giving into his negative emotions, which is not Sonic. Like, the whole underpinning of the Werehog transformation is he retains his soul because he's just that positive and unflappable. He's that heroic and secure of a character that even fully corrupted into a monstrous form, he's still himself. Dark Sonic is the antithesis to all of that. It's out of theme. It's out of character. I don't like it. Nyeh. Now, Dark Spine Sonic kind of gives us the out where he was affected by the negative aspects of the World Rings, if I remember correctly. And within the context of the story that Erasergen was creating, Sonic was the villain. So I guess you could say that's part of the influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was a destructive force, is that, Erasergen was literally rewriting the story as making himself the hero. So if you have some kind of outside influence that is overpowering Sonic and putting a negative twist on it, then I guess we could have it, but I don't want to. No. Bad.
No.
I'm gonna be infantile about it. You can't stop me.
Nope. Okay.
The other aspect of it is, like, what do you do with a Dark Sonic that makes him different than Super Sonic? That isn't just, darkness. Like, at least Dark Spine Sonic had the fiery thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
So what does Dark Super Sonic do? Does he move at the speed of darkness, or does he undo light and positivity? Is his very presence a negative influence? Is he a flying black hole? All right, that might actually be kind of cool, come to think of it.
This just sounds like concepts for Shadow. Like, if you're gonna do this,
if anyone's gonna go dark for him, yeah.
If you're gonna do this, just put it on Shadow. Like, why drag Sonic into it? Just make Shadow. You got Shadow there. I mean, they didn't kill him off permanently, even though they should have. So, might as well use him for something.
And part of it too is, if you have a dark form, if you want it to be the antithesis of the super form, super is bright and golden and shining and hyperactive. It's everything Sonic is dialed up to 11.
Yeah.
So the antithesis of that would be something that is slow and grounding and consuming, and having Sonic walk, just no, I don't like it. If you have him flying around and basically being a dark supersonic, then there's no real difference from being supersonic. It's just a color change.
Yeah.
And in that case, it would be more fun to do something like Super Saiyan Rose, and it's just a different color of supersonic, and it's just evil.
Yeah, something like that.
But I don't know. Maybe, but again, it's not Sonic. And if you're going to do an evil incarnation of Sonic, just like go whole hog with Shadow, or take that direction with Surge or something. It's like, I don't know. I intrinsically dislike Dark Sonic.
But people like to see their heroes go dark,
And I understand that appeal. I absolutely do. It's just, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it. I could be, so far up my own ass I can't see the potential. I don't know.
Well, depends on who you ask. Here's a question from John B. So let's say that somehow Powerline from a Goofy movie ends up in the IDW Sonic universe and becomes a worldwide pop sensation. Which of the characters would be fans? Which ones would believe him to be the worst thing to happen to music? And which ones are indifferent?
Everybody loves Powerline because Powerline is the best thing ever. Everyone sees eye to eye on that.
Maybe like different levels of Powerline fanboy and fangirlism, but not nobody hates him,
No, absolutely not. Like,
not even
Eggman will raise an army to conquer the auditorium so he gets front row seats.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sonic's super chill about it, but he will make sure to listen. Knuckles, he's on Angel Island. He's never heard of the idea of a concert. He doesn't know what this thing is. He knows who Powerline is. He knows Powerline is great. They're bros.
Oh,
just by the intrinsic level of Powerline being fantastic.
Powerline and Knuckles just hang out, you know?
Yeah.
They just chill.
Absolutely. They've known each other forever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Nothing new there. Yeah. It stops them from fighting long enough, you know? They just get awesome, you know? I mean, even Jewel is like, yeah, I like this. This guy's cool.
Makes her want to stand up above the crowd, even if she's got to shout out loud.
Even
Till I've been the only one you see, you gotta stand up till you notice me.
Wow. Incredible. Even the Zeddy like him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's the one thing the Zeddy like, and the one thing they all can agree on. Wow.
They've got the moves down, they choreograph. There's backup dancers, really.
Oh, of course. And let's see, Starline is his manager, obviously.
He wants to be.
Or at least, yeah.
He would be a great manager if he could just get past the bouncer.
It's true.
And Zavok's like, are you on the list?
I am the list.
I don't see you on the list.
Yeah.
Now listen here, you brute. I have myself a notion, and I'm sure it's one that you can understand.
Oh, great. Now everybody's just evolved into quoting Powerline lyrics. We have another Boom episode. I mean, they did do the pop star boy band episode. Actually, they did that multiple
episode
times.
Number 3, guest starring Powerline.
Of course, with Justin Bieber, yes. Justin Bieber. I want this. Somebody do this. Here's one from Jolene B. While characters created for the UK's Sonic the Comic are believed to be owned by their creators, Johnny Lightfoot and Porker Lewis were created for the US Sonic Bible as adaptations of the animal friends from Sonic 1, as was Sally Acorn. Does this mean that they're owned by SEGA and could theoretically be used in IDW? I know it's very unlikely given that SEGA won't even let you use the Freedom Fighters, but I'd still like to see it.
I'm no legal expert, so I don't know. I honestly don't know where the distinction is. I mean, taking everything that you've said at face value, it would make sense, but I don't know how that all works out. If there's some wrinkle somewhere that makes them not accessible, or if it's just a matter of Sega of today doesn't want to use the material of then, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, they're like, it could be those particular characterizations are not on the table, but maybe just the basic characters themselves, maybe.
It also raises the interesting question of, would we be able to use that as a backdoor to bring back Johnny, Porker, and Sally in brand new incarnations, reinterpretations of what is just Sega material? But would people like that? Like, UK listeners, let me know in the comments below. Would it be neat to see an IDW Johnny and Porker if they were nothing like the Sonic comic versions, or is it not really worth it if they aren't the characters that you knew, Mm-hmm. Sally fans, I already know your answer. We've been through this. You've made yourselves very clear. But UK fans, let me know what you think.
All right. Next one is from Phyllis. If you had to make a Sonic Heroes based team with Scourge as the speed type, who would you team him up with? And what would their team attack and theme song be?
On the one hand, it's tempting to take like Predator Hawk and Sergeant Simeon out of the Destructics just so that it's something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like cherry picking Destructics just to put the team together is kind of boring. The Destructics are not that strong a unit as it is. They work better collectively, and even then it's more as mooks.
Right.
I put a lot of effort into making them actual characters down the line, but let's be honest with ourselves, they couldn't carry a narrative by themselves. So I'm kind of inclined to pair out with Miles and Onux and just see how dysfunctional the trio is. Give them a scenario where they have to work together, but they hate each other.
Right.
And, why are they working together to get to the end? Is it to take off the exploding ankle bracelets that won't come off otherwise? Or, is there someone who has managed to collectively piss off all three of them enough that they're willing to work together? It'd be fun to see, because Scourge, the reason why Scourge worked was he was an investigation of Sonic as a character.
Right.
Sonic seen from a different lens. So in this scenario, why not go whole hog and, do a character study on Team Sonic or Team Heroes through the lens of the anti-versions? That might be interesting.
Maybe. Onux is a pacifist, though, so things get kind of weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to do something different with Onux if we ever got the chance, but that's pie in the sky way down the road stuff. As for a theme for Team Anti, I don't know, screamo thrash metal.
Maybe.
The lyrics are all about how the band hates each other.
Of course.
They have to come together to do the show.
Of course. I could think of, if you wanted to swap out somebody who's for less of a pacifist for Onux, you could put Buns in there.
Yeah. And I almost said, but she wouldn't want to work with him anymore. But that's the whole point of the team, is they don't want to work together.
Exactly.
So having her piloting the Omega armor. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And then less development time because you just palette swap Omega. Perfect. Bam! Yes. I've done it again. I don't know what I did the first time, but I've done it again. Whatever it is. Here's a question from Dreamboatin'. The old Sonic OVA is one of my favorite pieces of Sonic media, so now I'm curious. How do you think the rest of the cast, Amy, the Hooligans, Mighty Ray, Honey, etc., would be like if they had been in the OVA as well?
Being realistic, Amy probably would have been clingy and obnoxious during that era, which is sad to say, but
yeah.
Let's take it in a more positive route. The OVA gets a follow-up for Fandoman after all these years. She's still going to be the younger, less experienced version, but, have her and Tails be kind of the tag-alongs and the ones that need saving, but they are also the cheering squad, and then together they're able to do something to help Sonic on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
The Hooligans, they need to be the B-plot antagonists, the ones who show up kind of the mid-beat in each act to cause hijinks or a fun aside. And then they show up at the 11th hour to, change the climax in just a way. Oh no, Sonic is trapped by the latest robot, and that bomb that beamed through in Act 2 just happens to roll into the panel and blow up the foot of the robot so Sonic can save the day. So, some ridiculous like that.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Mighty and Ray I see as a rival duo to Sonic and Tails. Good-natured, of course, but a very friendly rivalry. They're
good old Bash Brothers.
Yeah.
They're going to pump you up.
Mm-hmm. Honey is the official royal designer for Princess Sarah. Why is Sarah got a mean right hook? Why has she got so many different outfits? It's because Honey's her personal trainer and also designs all of her royal outfits. And
brilliant. Sarah
absolutely adores her, and they get along swimmingly, and they're absolutely adorable together. And now I want to see this super bad.
I mean, I just wanted an excuse for Honey to come back and exist and be cool. And, they're both even cat girls. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And then Mighty,
there you go.
Mighty's
there's
just
the opening.
Mighty's just like the flustered guy who's just like, okay, yep.
There's the opening gag for the whole thing is Eggman sends the Hooligans to kidnap Princess Sarah. But they grab honey by mistake because they can't tell the difference. You told us to grab the presidential cat girl, not that one, you idiots! The one that's 3 feet taller!
Yeah. I don't know. Is she 3 feet taller? She's not that much taller.
Double her height, at least.
Maybe. Silliness. I'm ready for another Sonic the Fighters. All right, here's one from Scruffy Matt. Way back in Archie Sonic 42, there was a story where the Freedom Fighters were trying to locate the missing crown of acorns, and Sonic used a power ring to gain insight into the crown's location. As far as I can remember, the idea of using a ring to gain knowledge had never been mentioned before, and was never mentioned again afterwards. I know this was years before your tenure on a comic, but you demand when it comes to Sonic lore, so I'm guessing you knew about this. I think it may have even been briefly mentioned in the Mobius Encyclopedia. So my question is, did you ever consider having Sonic use a power ring to gain knowledge when you were writing the pre-boot comics? Or would that have been a little too Deus Ex Machina-y?
Way too Deus Ex Machina.
Uh-huh.
Having an easily accessible item that just gives you the answer to whatever you're looking for? No. Like, Silver could come back and go, who's the traitor? Bing! Oh, it was Sally. Whoops, my mistake. No, like, that throws everything out the window. Now, granted, Sonic didn't get, like, the implicit answer the one time he tried, and it ended up being hand-waved in the end anyway. But it opens up too many pitfalls. Just no. I purposefully avoided that one.
Yeah, that's some Silver Age holdovers, you know. Got the answer right here, because we can't come up with anything else, because why come up with anything else?
I mean, it could be done.
Yes.
Like if you kept the aspect of it gives you a hint and you have to unravel it from there, but then you have to build the story around the mystery.
Yeah.
Which is doable, just I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least it's more involved than, boom, you have the answer right there immediately. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay.
And it would need a more satisfying payoff than a text box saying, oh yeah, the whole limbo was in his mind all along. It's like, oh, okay.
Here's a question from Tempo. Do you happen to know what the official word is on where and when Sonic Advance takes place? I've come up with a nice theory that quite a few people agreed works, and even proposes what the real story of the game is, but I wanted to cross-check and make sure there wasn't anything conflicting with my ideas.
Number one, don't hinge your fan ideas on what SEGA may one day lock down as canon. Because number one, you never know when that shoe's going to drop. And number two, if it's your own fanon, just embrace it. You know, you may not like what the official word is.
It's going to change. It could change at some point anyway, at any time. We're seeing this in action literally right now.
Yeah, so if and when an official timeline of games comes out, I know folks aren't going to embrace it because you can't have it can't be perfect.
Right.
There's always going to be some plot hole somewhere because there was no grand plan for all of these. There's always going to be contradiction somewhere, and what works officially for SEGA may not work for you personally. So, you know, screw it. Have your own fanon. And if the official canon contradicts it down the line, it doesn't hurt anything. It's your own fan stuff. Go nuts with it. You're not having to answer to anyone except yourself.
Yeah.
And if someone goes, excuse me, that's not what the official canon is, then say, fine, that's my fanon for my one fan thing over here. If they don't like it, they can go somewhere else.
Go pound sand somewhere else. Not here. So where is Sonic Advance on the timeline?
Probably somewhere around Sonic Adventure.
That's kind of what I figured. They're concurrent with each other, but
no,
I don't know.
I don't want to say, with any kind of official stance on it. Just that's what I figure it would do.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels like the adventure or the advance games were separated in a weird way. Like the events of them did not really affect the events of other stuff.
No.
Eh.
I mean, it would have to come before Adventure 2 because they blow up the moon in Adventure 2 and Advance 1 ends with a fight on the moon. I mean, granted, it could be on the intact side of the moon, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think they thought about this. I think they just wanted to make Game Boy Sonic games because the Game Boy was huge and Sega no longer had their own consoles. I think that's it. It's just business. Here's a question from Axis. If you had complete creative control to design a new Sonic fighting game from scratch, how would you make it? What kind of gameplay would it be? Also, what characters would you add, and what special moves would they have? Go wild with this one, guys. Oh, boy. we may not go too deep into this, but we'll see.
I'm of two minds.
Yeah.
Kyle, you tell me which one sounds better.
Okay.
On the one hand, I want to see a kind of traditional 2D fighter, but it has to be in the Arc system, super pretty, over the top, very visceral, Dragon Ball Fighters-esque.
Funny. I was thinking pretty much the exact same thing.
Like, it has to be the spectacle of it. Like you're playing an anime fight.
It's got to be Guilty Gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be Sonic, but in Guilty Gear. Yep.
On the other hand, Smash Brothers. Because there's your platforming, there's your cartoony fun, throw everybody into the mix. Because how much fun would it be to have Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Amy all fighting at the same time?
Yeah, it would be fun, but I mean, at the same time, kind of burned out on Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the easy route, you know? It feels like that's the easy route at these days.
For me, the core is it has to be accessible.
Right.
Like, I don't like traditional fighting games. Your Guilty Gears, your Street Fighters.
I was saying Guilty Gear is very not accessible.
Yeah, I don't like your quarter circle back turn A, B, fierce, medium, whatever. I don't like those. They're not fun for me.
But they look so good.
They do look so good. Like, I really wanted to get into Dragon Ball Fighters, but it's a traditional fighting game.
Yeah. And
they have a very nice tutorial mode. You can learn on it. I don't want to work to enjoy my game.
Yeah.
You know? Smash Brothers, I can pick up and play. And I can get trounced, and I do frequently, but I still don't feel like it's because I am performing poorly. No, that's not it. I am performing poorly. It's not that with like a Smash Brothers type fighter, anyone can pick it up and get into it. There is a skill ceiling that you can reach. There is finesse to be had, but anyone can pick up and play and understand the mechanics. Up, down, left, right, regular, special. That's it. It's learning the characters and just learning how to use the terrain. The tools are easily accessible. Everyone can understand them at a glance. It's just the nuance of the characters and the stages. With your more technical fighters, you have to understand the more complex button inputs, how they play out by frame. There's a delay to it. There's a lot more thought and effort to go into just getting the basic moves down, for me at least. That just makes it unfun. I don't want to put all this time into learning how to do this combo string, whereas in a platform fighter like Smash Brothers, I already know what to do just by virtue of it's up, down, left, right, A, B. You know, that's it. There's tilt, there's diagonals, there's timing, sure. There's nuance to be had, but it's way more accessible than your technical fighters. And I feel like a Sonic game should be more accessible than other IPs.
Why not both? Why not have your super technical, super pretty 2D fighter and then your spectacle fighter that's less about combos and stuff, you know?
Well, number one, money. Number two, you don't want to release one and eat the audience of the other.
I guess. But I want both.
I do. I know, that's the problem. God, just like an Arc System pretty technical fighter.
Yeah.
I would love to watch that game.
I'm not super familiar with it. I have not played it personally, but there's this fan game called Sonic Smackdown that's a 2D, it's like more traditional 2D fighter that could be fun. And then, of course, there's Mugen. Because, of course, there's Mugen.
Sure, yeah.
So.
As for characters, all the characters. I want everybody.
Uh-huh.
Just like a ludicrous...
Steal the tagline from Smash Brothers. Everybody is here! That's it. Yeah.
Like, organize it by your traditional team trios and, I don't know, have multiple screens if you have to, but I want everybody in there.
Of course. You could do it like Marvel vs. Capcom, tag battles, switch out characters on the fly. That might be fun. That's a good way to get stuff going on in there. And then you have assists and stuff like that too. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be good. I'm into it. I like it. Or you just do a Sonic wrestling game.
I mean, I feel a little bad not saying, oh, well, let's get our Sonic Battle 2 or Sonic the Fighters 2. But, I mean, Virtual Fighter is another form of technical fighter. And I don't know, 3D fighting games like Virtual Fighter and Soul Calibur and such, they don't appeal to me visually the same as your 2D technical fighters. Like, I'll even take your Street Fighter 5 over that because at least it kind of feels visually similar. Now, this is because I grew up on the old arcade stuff and the absolutely gorgeous sprite work of, you know, the early Street Fighters and Final Fights and whatnot. So that's what is
SNK fighters.
Yeah. That's what I associate with a cool fighting game. And Sonic Battle is a neat concept, but I feel like the 2D sprites in a 3D rotating environment, it doesn't mesh as well as 3D characters confined to a 2D plane.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked. It was certainly a functional game, and it was neat and all, but I don't know. I had a real hard time gauging the depth in battle.
Yeah.
Knowing if that was going to hit or whiff. So, I don't know. Kudos to them for trying to do something different, but if you're going to do a platformer fighter like that, I feel like the Smash Brothers route is the way to go.
Or just Power Stone.
Yeah, but I don't feel like you can get the same kind of speed, and it's a very different kind of franticness.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. I think you can
Power
make it
Stone
work.
is that kind of goofy fun. I don't know.
It is. Power Stone is fantastic. I don't know. There's also, like, you know, the open world 3D Dragon Ball Z fighting games that you could use. Like, you could kind of base it on. That might be fun. You know, more open area to fight in, and, you know, more potential for huge moves, screen filling,
maybe
just insanity, you know, things like that, you know. I don't know. There's a lot on that one. That's a good one. Let us know what kind of Sonic fighting game you would like to see in the comments. Here's a question from Rahona Viz. Sonic, at least in its early days, is very much a series about nature versus industrialization and had a noted environmentalist bent to its storytelling. It's pretty clear that Sonic has a fondness for nature, so I wanted to know if you've given much thought to Sonic's favorite to least favorite plant leaves. Sonic seems like a pretty opinionated guy, so I can't help but think he has some thoughts about the fauna around him. I know you're under a lot of NDAs, so I understand if you can't talk about the Sonic frontiers, but I figured I'd try.
Number one, sorry, it's flora, not fauna. And number two, I am the worst guy to ask about botany. Yeah, I am the wrong guy. Like, last year when we were still under lockdown and Aaliyah wanted to get stuff for the porch, but we had to be very careful about exposure and stuff. You know, I took ludicrously expansive notes on the stuff she was looking for because I can't tell this stuff apart. She's like, I want this in this color, and I'm like, I don't know what that plant is. And it's like, it looks like this. It has this number of leaves and this shape. It has this kind of interior. I'm like, okay. I've got it. I've got like this kind of criminal profile on each bloody plant. And then I get to the greenhouse. I'm like, I have no idea where I am. I don't even know where to begin to look. What kind of plant is this? What section am I at? I'm lost. Send a search party. Help. I don't know what these are. this looks similar, but the leaves aren't exactly alike. Is this just because the plant is slightly different, or is this a different genus and species and phylum? And I don't know plants. I do not know plants. The best I can tell you botanically is what I can see in the produce section at the grocery store. I can't help you. You could put a line of leaves on the table and say these are all the exact same plant, just at different points of their life cycle, and be like, sure, I'll buy that. And you're like, actually, no, these are from completely different plants from different corners of the planet. And I'd say, yep, you're absolutely right. And you'd go, you have no idea. And I go, nope. You could cut shapes into these leaves and say these are naturally occurring things, and I go, neat. I am bad at plants.
I mean, I'm not great at plants either, but I mean, I'm not that bad. It's pretty rough.
If I were out in the wilderness and I only was able to survive on what edible plants I could find, I'd be dead.
Because you'd eat the wrong ones, or you just wouldn't eat any of them. Or both.
Yes.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Eat all that poison ivy, buddy. Mm-hmm, I don't know if I could even... I would be scared to eat plants just because of allergy issues, but I don't know. Like wild plants like that.
Be looking at a nearby deer. Hey, can I eat this? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. You can eat the deer.
Yes, with my vast arsenal of natural tools here.
Well, you can make like a spear, like just a sharp rock on a stick. You could do that. Just make sure the deer doesn't eat you first. Yeah. And our last question for this episode comes to us courtesy of Exadel. If you had to envision a super form for Amy, what color would she be? Would she be the token super gold, a color negative mossy green, or maybe a brighter glossy rose gold?
Oh, rose gold for sure.
I mean, it's right there in her name. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
I feel like you
sense.
have to go that route.
Yeah. I've also seen like blue, like a light blue kind of thing. That would be cool. And of course, the traditional gold super color is common. I mean,
cool. Everyone we've seen so far goes gold to some degree. Sonic is yellow gold, Shadow goes white gold, Silver just is kind of glowy and gold, but they've all got that glow, that golden aura to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless you go back to Classic, then you got Knuckles who's pink, and then Tails who's just shiny.
I feel like that's less pink and more just luminous, that they are glowing individuals.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
See, Silver throws the wrench into it. Silver throws the wrench into it because Sonic goes, color negative, blue to yellow.
Yeah.
Shadow goes color negative, black to white. Not the stripes, though, for some reason. So, by that virtue, Silver should go like black, which would be metal as hell. But no, he's just kind of glowy gold, which is yet another reason why Sonic 06 has failed us all as a civilization. So, by that virtue, Exile is right in that Amy should kind of go green, but I don't know how that would look visually. And with that red dress, she'd kind of look like she was just Christmas themed. So if we're just going kind of general metallic gold, I think rose gold would look pretty boss on her.
Yeah. Maybe Knuckles just goes green instead.
No, Kyle.
Super. Make him green. That's definitely.
Also, Super Amy's got to get that giant green hammer out of SA1, her upgraded hammer.
Yeah, but make it bigger.
Oh, yeah. We're talking Planet Crusher.
Oh, of course. You thought Eggman shooting half the moon off was bad. Watch Super Amy hit the moon.
Splat.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect half moon for the rest of eternity.
Yep, there you go. Perfect. I like it. Anyway, Green Knuckles.
That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. But before we go, we're going to give a big thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast and Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast that make this show possible. Big thank you to, oh boy, Omegawatt, Pig Dan 20, Jinx, Phi, Nice Yubel, Choco Desert, Narave, Exodal, Jamal S., Neostrife, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Tai Cyan, Nondal, Rhythm Raccoon, Finest Cacophony, Arc Fighter, Michael P., Spiral Warrior, Alex GS, Goosey Tentai, Agent Kaz, Jolene B., The Marble Gardener, and Tails, Dreamboatin, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Joey the Sonic Fan, Derusiful, Lacey M., Unlikely Veronica, Axis, Ty H., KJB, Mox, Solaris Stain, Just a Mountain Soul, In Zephyr, Chaos Sonic 1, Maddie H., 4 Sonic Fan, Nimric, Cameron H., Ava Arctic, Radry, Callum Q, The Name is X, Keeper of Monsters, Kimiko, Alphamon or Yukin, Xanderoni the Painter, Kojiro Highwind, Ben W., Noah S., John the Real Waluigi, Fiona M., Lewis J., Chad, Les, Quaggle, Ryan D., Chase L., Hero of Light 13, Red the Supernamic, Professor Rye, T. Ranger, Dove, Jib, Pandolce, Daddler the Dalek, Awesome Cakester, Sapphire Scarletta, J. Frost, Piggy Bank, Daniel B., Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Noni, Off, Jonathan D., Jennifer H., Sony, Owen BD, Preston M., Salute Your Cat, Pedanti Cat, Blue Title Gamer, Koopaling Crew 128, Yami M., Andrew D., Final Neil, Tick Tick, Lisa M., Scruffy Matt, Lee HK, Don B., Chevelle, Chris A., Duiz Disden, John B., John M., Jennifer R., Mike B., Samuel P., Robotnik Holmes, Daniel H., Alex P., Dave M., James K., Sam Cybercat, and Joe M.
That's a lot of names.
That's 112 wonderful people.
Wow.
Thank you so very much.
You're amazing. You're amazing. Yes.
That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. We'll see you Wednesday for a standard Q&A episode, and then Friday we have a special guest episode, so you can look forward to that.
Yeah. See you
Until
then.
Be good to yourselves and be good to each other. We'll see you next time on the BumbleKast. We were watching, I think it was Fail Army last night, and there's just this one clip where a guy's waiting behind the corner, and a woman comes around the corner carrying their cat, and he goes, boo, and she goes, ah, and the cat looks like somebody tased a Muppet. It is the most cartoonish, flailing animal. Oh my god. And it was in sync with the woman's scream, no less.
Of course.
Oh god. We were in tears. It was just, oh my god. You know what? I think that's accurate because you would totally put out a picture of me in a French maid outfit just for the lulz.
Maybe. Don't tempt me. Now you've given me the idea.
Let's get back to recording, shall we?
I do not have such a picture yet.
It is unneeded. It is unnecessary.
Well, now you mentioned it. Someone else will probably do it.
No!
In the chat. Yeah,
Anyway,
one of the other guys would.
Fat mouth.
One of you other guys will do it. Yeah, I'll let you do it. You can have that one for free.
I knew we were gonna. Don't you do it. Don't you touch the microphone stand. I'm mid-sentence, animal.
Now you were just tempting her even more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're cute. Go settle somewhere, dear. She is standing right under the mic stand, so the minute she moves...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Ah!
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. Also, Dove was saying they didn't hear my name either, but, whatever. It's fine.
Really? I didn't say Dove?
No, my, as in Kyle's name.
Oh, why?
I don't support the BumbleKast. Why would I support the BumbleKast?
You are the BumbleKast.
Why would I support this show? I mean, who would listen to this garbage?
112 people at least.
Too many.